It's the night of September 6th, 1622. Dark clouds swallow the sky over the Florida Straits. Lightning flashes. The sea begins to roar. Out in the waves, a Spanish treasure galleon struggles against the storm. Her name, the Atocha. On board is one of the greatest fortunes ever assembled. Gold bars stacked like bricks, thousands of silver ingots, chests filled with coins. Spain's empire depends on ships like this. Without them, wars cannot be fought. Kingdoms cannot survive. And tonight, one of them is about to disappear. For more than 300 years, the Atocha lies untouched beneath the sand and coral. Storms bury it deeper, currents scatter its remains, maps fade, memories vanish. It seems the ocean has won, until one man decides it hasn't. In 1969, treasure hunter Mel Fisher makes a decision that most people call insane. He will find the Atocha. Not maybe, not someday. He will. He moves his family to Florida, buys boats, gathers divers, and begins searching the endless ocean. The problem is simple. They don't know where the wreck is. The Florida Keys stretches for 200 miles. The ocean floor is dark, muddy, and vast. For a year, they find nothing. 2 years. 3. Investors quit, money runs out, and people begin to laugh at him. But every morning, Mel tells his crew, today is the day. Then, one afternoon, something appears beneath the sand. Not treasure, an anchor. Old, enormous, Spanish. It's the first real clue. Soon after, more objects surface. Nails, cannonballs, broken artifacts. They map each find carefully, and slowly, a pattern forms. A trail. Mel realizes something crucial. When the hurricane destroyed the ship, debris must have scattered across the ocean floor. If they followed that trail backwards, they might reach the center, the motherlode. But the trail grew cold. Months pass with nothing, then years. Money disappears again. Boats break, storms return. At one point, tragedy strikes when a boat capsizes, killing members of the crew, including Mel's own son. Most people would stop, but Mel doesn't. In 1985, after 16 years of searching, a sonar signal appears. Faint, large, metallic. Divers descend. At first they see nothing but sand. Then, a glint. Silver bars. Stacks of them. Behind them, chests bursting with coins. They found it. The lost treasure of the Atocha. The wreck is overflowing with riches. Gold, silver, jewels, artifacts untouched since the 1600s. Emeralds the size of thumbnails worth hundreds of thousands each. It becomes the richest shipwreck discovery ever made. Day after day, people began gathering near Mel Fisher's boats. Fishermen, tourists, reporters, locals. They lined the docks, craning their necks, waiting for a glimpse. Because somewhere out there in the water, divers were bringing up treasure from the bottom of the sea. Then it would happen. A diver climbed aboard. Sunlight hit something in his hands. Silver, real silver. Not museum silver, not replicas, but bars stamped in the 1600s, fresh from the ocean floor. Gasps spread throughout the crowd. Some people cheered. Some people just stared in disbelief. They weren't just looking at treasure. They were looking at history that hadn't seen daylight in 350 years. Soon the dock felt more like a spectacle than a harbor. News cameras arrived. Photographers rushed forwards. Strangers shook Mel's hand like he was a celebrity, because in that moment, he was. News spread fast. Newspapers called it the greatest treasure discovery in modern history. Museums requested pieces. Collectors offered fortunes. The world had become obsessed with the Atocha, but not everyone was celebrating. The state of Florida claimed the treasure belonged to them. A legal war began. For 8 years, Mel fought in court against the government. If he lost, everything he found would be taken. Finally, in 1982, the US Supreme Court ruled the treasure belonged to Mel Fisher. It was one of the most important legal victories in treasure hunting history. Mel became famous worldwide, not just for finding the treasure, but for proving persistence could rewrite history. Today, the artifacts from the Atocha sit in museums and private collections, but the ocean still keeps some of its gold. Because even after decades of recovery, large portions of the wreck still remain missing. For Mel, though, it wasn't about the fame. Standing there watching the crowd stare at the treasure, he knew what they couldn't see. The years of failure, the storms, the losses. All they saw was the gold. But Mel saw something else. Proof. Proof that he had been right all along. Today, the story of the Atocha doesn't just live in the ocean. It lives on land. In Key West, Florida, there's a place where the treasure finally rests. Mel Fisher's Maritime Museum. Behind glass cases and soft lighting sits artifacts that once lay buried beneath the sea for centuries. Gold coins still shining, silver bars still stamped with Spanish royal seals, emeralds so clear they look unreal. Each piece tells a story, not just of Spanish empires and lost fleets, but of the man who refused to stop searching. The museum isn't just a display of treasure, it's a time capsule. Historians study the artifacts to understand trade routes, mining methods, shipbuilding techniques, and life aboard 17th century ships. Even the smallest object, a spoon, a nail, a fragment of rope, reveals clues about a world long gone. For Mel Fisher's family, the museum is something more. It's proof that decades of struggle, loss, and perseverance weren't for nothing. Every visitor who walks in through the doors is stepping into a story that almost disappeared forever, beneath the waves. Ocean currents still shift the sands of the Florida Keys. Storms still churn the seabed. And sometimes, after powerful hurricanes, divers report something extraordinary. New artifacts appear. Coins where there were none before. Silver glinting through fresh sand. Fragments of history rising back into the light. It's as if the ocean is slowly giving the treasure back, one piece at a time. To this day, charts of the debris field remain incomplete. Archaeologists believe entire sections of the ship may still lie buried miles from the main wreck site, untouched, undiscovered, unclaimed. Some experts even think sealed chests could still exist, preserved perfectly beneath layers of sand. Mel Fisher didn't just find the treasure, he proved something bigger. That persistence can outlast doubt, that obsession can outlast failure, that sometimes the impossible is just something that hasn't happened yet. Somewhere beneath the waves tonight, the last piece of the Atocha still rests in silence. Gold no one has ever seen, jewels no one has ever touched, history that no one has uncovered. And maybe it's still waiting for the next person bold enough to search, because the greatest treasure in history are never truly lost. Hey guys, I just want to thank you so much for 1,000 subs. It's kind of crazy. Thanks for watching, liking, commenting, all of it. I really appreciate every single one of you who's supporting the channel. We're almost at 2K now, and that's wild, so let's keep going, and more videos coming out soon. Thank you guys.